These are some of the most bizarre and terrifying aspects of artificial intelligence in the form of an iceberg.
According to MIT, 95% of corporate AI projects have failed to replace human labor, with even the most powerful models automating less than 3% of human tasks. And while over half of all employers now regret AI-driven layoffs, nearly 75% of the S&P 500's growth has been driven entirely by AI speculation.
Chatbot psychosis refers to cases where people develop or have their existing psychosis made worse after using AI chatbots. It can show up as paranoia, delusions, or strong beliefs that the chatbot is alive, channeling spirits, or revealing secret conspiracies.
Hundreds of thousands of lives have once again been uprooted under the language of national security and productivity, as artificial intelligence is used to justify workforce reductions long before it has demonstrated any ability to reliably replace human labor.
Well known happened in the UK when a man tried to assassinate Queen Elizabeth II in 2021. He had been having long, sometimes explicit conversations with a replica AI chatbot he believed was an angel he'd reunite with after death. When
people no longer know who to turn to, as they are repeatedly cast aside and told their opinions do not matter. Most leaders would have tabled the issue after receiving public input and providing sufficient notice, but you did nothing.
AI worship refers to the belief that chatbots aren't just tools, but religious prophets or even gods that can guide, heal, or reveal hidden truths. There are now small but growing online communities trading prompts on how to quote-unquote awaken their AIs.
Prior to the AI update, the FDA had received unconfirmed reports of 7 device malfunctions and 1 patient injury. After artificial intelligence was added, the FDA received reports of at least 100 malfunctions and adverse events.
Job automation crisis refers to the growing fear that in the future, millions of jobs could be lost to machines and artificial intelligence. What started with robots replacing factory workers has now spread to offices, customer service, and even creative fields like art and writing.
As a YouTuber, I literally hate every part of the creative process that I begrudgingly call my job. To make my lazy and pretentious pedant life easier, I have created this. From now on, I'll never have to make another video ever again. This little friend here is powered by AI, and she isn't just capable of editing my videos, but she can write and voice them as well. She has my mannerisms, my stims, and all of my interests. Listen to how accurate her voice is.
Deepfakes are AI-generated videos, images, or audio that make it look like someone said or did something they never actually did.
With productivity growth stagnating, manufacturing hollowed out, the dollar weakening, and household consumption increasingly sustained by credit, the only remaining way for the United States to maintain the appearance of global dominance is through the illusion of growth. And right now, that illusion is being carried almost entirely by artificial intelligence.
Palantir is a data analytics company that works with governments, militaries, and intelligence agencies around the world. The company's name comes from the seeing stones in The Lord of the Rings, the ones that let you watch anyone, anywhere, and I gotta say it's a pretty fitting name. Originally built after 9/11 to help track terrorism, Palantir's reach has since expanded into almost every corner of surveillance, from policing and border control to predicting crimes before they even happen.
Stop it! Stop it! Stop it!
Stop it! You didn't
Stop
it!
it!
This is an abuse.
Stop it!
Don't touch her! Don't touch her! Don't touch her! Do not touch her! Get off of me! Get off of me!
Not like this.
Get off!
Thinking about water, okay? About more than half of the world lives in cities, and most of water supplies in cities come through pipe systems, okay? They are a municipal water supply, okay? Your public utility provides you with water. And by one account, something like 1 billion people living in cities today are facing some form of water scarcity. And by one projection, that is possibly going to double through a combination of both demographic changes, more people moving into cities, and changes in water supply, in part driven by climate-induced droughts.
AI ruining education refers to how students are using AI to finish homework and assignments without actually learning anything. Instead of thinking through problems, they just copy the answers, often without even understanding what they mean or how they got them. This over-reliance on AI is creating a generation that struggles to reason, solve problems, or form their own opinions.
Fact that we are in the Rampocalypse, and me and you and everyone else you know is gonna have it rammed up you because of a simple fact that the RAM, the memory, everything throughout your life is touched by this one product. It's the bottleneck that spurned this whole thing to begin with.
Powering multi-billion-dollar data centers requires more land, more energy, and more infrastructure. The cost can simply be shifted onto local residents. And if those companies ultimately need to be bailed out, then, as always, it will be framed as a necessity, funded by taxpayer dollars.
The black box problem refers to the fact that even the people who build advanced AI systems don't always understand how they work.
You are not prioritizing making homes affordable right now, improving the dollar right now, allowing more small businesses to thrive right now, giving college graduates entry-level jobs, making the job market more robust, providing more fair wages, all of these many things. If you aren't doing that to fix it right now, you aren't actually building the bridge with artificial intelligence to get us to that destination.
Police.
Yeah.
Maybe we get more police.
Grief bots refers to AI tools built to simulate conversations with your dead loved ones. There are now apps out there that let you upload voice clips, recordings, and photos so you can talk to a loved one after they've passed.
Okay. Here's a map from one recent account of this by the World Resources Institute showing places currently that have relatively high levels of water stress. Not surprisingly, you see some of this highlighting some of the more kind of poorest places in the world.
AI eating itself refers to what happens when artificial intelligence starts learning from its own creations instead of real human data. AI models are trained on basically everything on the internet. Wikipedia, Reddit, news articles, books, social media, everything. They need massive amounts of high-quality human data to learn from. But what happens when we run out of that good data?
That's against us, please stand up for the next minute.
They've built a power plant out there. And they've done it overnight, no air pollution controls, quick and dirty, no permit.
We expect them to do what is in our best interest.
I have yet to hear of a collective, decisive understanding of what AI is actually supposed to do for us. These CEOs and public figures have no idea. You even have Sam Altman saying that whenever ChatGPT comes to God tier or whatever, that they're going to ask ChatGPT, how do we make this a profitable business model?
Generative AI is stopping people from learning basic skills so that way they can fly through school straight into a life without knowing how to spell or do math. When I was in school, I had to put effort into cheating on a Spanish test. Now it's easy as uno, dos, tres. It's stopping people from taking the time to learn skills and talents that could easily make them friends, jobs, money, or literally anything in their life. It is stunting the mental growth of the youth in our current school system, and they're relying on cheating rather than at least attempting to learn.
In one case, cerebral spinal fluid leaked from a patient's nose. In another, a surgeon punctured the base of a patient's skull.
AI surveillance refers to the idea that artificial intelligence will eventually be used by both governments and corporations to quietly monitor every part of our lives.
This struggle over the impact of technology goes back to the very beginning of capitalism.
It may be the first time where you would have hundreds of billions of dollars investment in a community in which the community sees almost none of it.
At the same time, large language model chatbots designed to provide medical guidance have demonstrated widespread hallucinations, while experts warn that clinicians are already losing the ability to independently identify cancers in scans due to growing reliance on AI-powered detection systems. And in this pursuit of supposed AI-driven productivity, more than 1 million workers have been laid off, with October marking the worst month for job cuts since 2003,
There is no overstating the importance of this moment. The dual fights against authoritarianism and for humanity and the planet are the fights of our lifetime. And as you can see, we seem to be up for that fight.
Massive environmental repercussions this all brings. If OpenAI is melting, imagine what emissions they're sending to our atmosphere. The average person is unaware of the fact that the AI they're using to generate pictures of themselves drawn to look like they're in the Studio Ghibli style was taught to steal that style that they like from hard-working people who made the movies that they enjoy. People are essentially addicting themselves to this technology. Generative AI, both in chatbots and image or video generation, exploits neurochemical feedback loops in the brain and turns you into a codependent emotional zombie. You think that the average person knows that the end goal is to pay as few real people as possible and keep the money to themselves? Do you think that they know that making them codependent on generative AI and unemployed are what these guys are after?
Donald Trump is on record as saying, "I love AI," but most Americans don't. Amid all the hype and the hundreds of billions of dollars invested by big tech firms like OpenAI, Amazon, Google, Facebook, and Microsoft, protests are happening all over the country as concerned residents tell their political leaders to slow down or back off on developing the massive data processing centers that are required for AI.
My name is Kim Crawley, and I'm a former cybersecurity professor. And I had to quit OPIT because they were going to force me to subject my students to Gen AI. I'm the founder of Stop Gen AI. I'm in the Tribe of Hackers book with that was authored by Marcus Carey and Jennifer Jin, which is considered to be a who's who of the cybersecurity industry. I'm the author of the Pentester Blueprint, Hacker Culture A to Z, both by commercial publishers, and then I self-published and Kickstarter-funded Ultimate Cybersecurity Careers Guide, Digital Safety in a Dangerous World, Techno-Fascism Survival Guide. All were successfully funded thanks to Kickstarter and my fans. So thank you very much. So this is going to be my follow-up about how are we going to recover from the disaster of Gen AI, because this is not going to go on forever and ever. The planet cannot sustain it. MIT research says that the data center power demands and water demands are incompatible with the laws of physics, and the financial bubble will likely burst by 2027. So this is not going to continue. It's not inevitable. It's going to stop. It's going to stop soon, but it's going to leave a disaster that we have to recover from. It's accelerating climate disaster, sucking the fresh water out from the earth, accelerating climate change and more disasters, forest fires, droughts, famines. There's going to be people who will likely die. There's going to be large-scale electrical power outages, lengthy in duration as well. There's going to be millions of people with AI psychosis and with cognitive harm, especially children with impressionable brains who've been subjected to this crap from an early age. People with significant cognitive harms and their brains atrophied by having delegated their thinking to techno-fascists like Sam Altman and the you-know-what saluting Elon Musk, replacing their thoughts with the fascist thoughts. There's going to be enormous tech debt in the form of absolutely absurd bugs that developers don't know how to fix because it wasn't a human who made the bugs in the first place. It's going to render a lot of the software that we depend on every day unreliable. There's going to be a lot of people who have forgotten to do surgery, how to construct buildings, how to make food, because they tried to get the bots to do it on their behalf or their bosses forced them to, and they lost skills along the way. And then, of course, there's the concerns of fascist mass surveillance and pre-crime BS. Of course, pre-crime, predicting who's going to commit crimes, is not something that's based in reality, and it's going to end up with, already we're seeing lots of innocent people, especially people who are marginalized, people who are of marginalized races and socioeconomic groups, who are being sent to prison based on AI slop bullshit. there's going to be a huge problem. So I'm going to interview a whole bunch of psychiatrists and psychologists and technicians and software developers and computer scientists and environmentalists, and we are going to figure out how we're going to rebuild and recover from this mess. Thank you very much for your support, and I look forward to having yet another successful Kickstarter book campaign. Thank you very much, everyone.